I'm dressed in shirt because the Jets are golfing, and it may be a tip to my playoff pick, which we'll get to later. But we're gonna pick this up with the Bills Texans. Hopefully, this video quality stays good the whole time, so we'll have to monitor that. But we got the audio going on the podcast. Bills are 10-6. Texans are 10-6. The Texans 2.5-point favorite. Over under 44 points. And Texans have a 70% chance of winning this game according to ESPN stats and info. And I think that was around the same for you guys too, around 70%. So we look at this game. The Bills are traveling to Houston. Houston has been very bad in the playoffs lately. Seems to be one and done almost every time lately. So I'm not sure if that's going to change this time. I guess we'll find out as we talk about this more, what we think. So let's look at Josh Allen for a second. 20 touchdowns, 9 picks. His completion percentage under 60. Just over 3,000 yards. He's lost 4 fumbles. His QBR is 45.5, which is dreadful. His rushing yards are 510 with 9 touchdowns, so that's a great element to his game. And both these quarterbacks like to take off and run. Watson has 413 and 7 touchdowns. Watson has almost 4,000 yards. His completion percentage is 67, 26 touchdowns, 12 picks. His rating's 98. His QBR is close to 70, which is a big step up from Allen, obviously. When you look at the ground game, you see Singletary pops out at me, averaging 5 yards a carry, 775 yards and 2 touchdowns. Frank Gore, reliable, still 513 and 2 TDs. Look at John Brown, 72 catches, 1,060 yards and 6 touchdowns. He was an outstanding receiver for the Bills this season, the best one on the team. Cole Beasley is an X factor for me. One of them, 67 catches, 778 yards and 6 TDs. He seems to always pick up that first down that Allen's looking for. Then you look at the Texans side of things. You got Carlos Hyde, just over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins doing Hopkins things, 104 catches, 1,165 yards, 7 TDs. Will Fuller is playing, right, brother? He's going to be in there.
Yes, he is.
So Fuller has 49 catches, 670 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He, of course, missed a bunch of games due to a hamstring injury. Will Fuller is a tin man, and I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't end up finishing the game because that's how injury-prone he is, and sometimes he just can't finish games. He's played 11 games. I believe started 6 only due to injury, so he's really had an up-and-down year for sure. And you got Kenny Stills, another deep threat, 560 yards and 4 touchdowns. And you got Duke Johnson's actually an interesting X factor for me in the Texans. I want to see what they do with him. He has around 800 all-purpose yards and 4 touchdowns on the season. So he's been getting involved in the run game in the pass game, and they're going to try to do that some more. And we're going to see what happens. Brother, when you look at the game, what's some things that pop out? You some matchups, X factors for either team?
Yeah, this game definitely is 2 teams that are definitely evenly matched. I think they're very similar in both offense and defense. I will tell you, Deshaun Watson definitely in his early career definitely hasn't had the best luck in the playoffs, but they're getting some help. J.J. Watt will play. Remember, he tore his pec. He's back for the defense. Helps that pass rush out perfectly, especially with Whitney Merciless, Cunningham, all those boys out there. So that defense is going to be fired up and ready to go. So with this one, but the Bills' defense is so underrated. And Tre'Davious White, we cannot not talk about how good Tre'Davious White was this season. He was absolutely shut down. Him and Stephon Gilmore were 2 of the best corners in football this year. And I'm not trying to be biased. They were 2 of the best corners in football. Both of them have not let up a touchdown all year. Both of them. And both of them are tied in the lead with 6 interceptions. So that's a plus for the defense of the Bills. So he's going to go up against Nuke Hopkins. It's easier said than done to try to shut down this guy. And he won't. It's not going to happen. Nuke Hopkins is going to find a way to make plays, and Deshaun Watson has to get the ball to his playmakers. So with this game, I see that both quarterbacks are going to have to make plays out of the pocket. They are going to be under duress a lot. They're not going to have a set pocket. And Deshaun Watson, I'm going to single him out for a second. He makes his best plays when he's out of the pocket. The guy is a dual-threat quarterback. He can do it all. It's going to be a problem for this Bills defense. An X factor for the Texans, I'm going to go with, and call me crazy, I'm going to go with Carlos Hyde. I think
Right.
Carlos Hyde is going to be a guy that they don't really think is going to be a guy who could get big plays. They're going to really worry about Nuke. They're going to worry about keeping Deshaun in the pocket. But when he runs the rock this year, he had a good year with the Texans. He really did. So I think that he's an X factor. I think he could get a lot of big plays going. And for the Bills, I'm going to tell you what you said it right. Cole Beasley is an X factor. He is the chain mover. 3rd down and 5, you need 5 yards, he'll get you 7. He's just that type of player. They're going to have a hard time covering him. Their nickel corner, which is Kevin Johnson, former Texan, by the way. So it's going to be a problem. So with this game, that's the one thing I look at. I think Josh Allen has played a lot better football than he has in the past. So that's a plus for him. Devin Singletary, you got to get him going. He is a force when he gets the ball in his hands. So here's my prediction for this game. You asked me early on in the week who I thought. I've been thinking about this past couple days, and you know what? I'm going to go with it. I knew J.J. Watt was coming back. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to stay. I think Bills Mafia gets it done.
Oh.
I think that they're going to advance. I think this team is for real. I think they're going to be good for a very long time. They're very fundamentally sound all together. The defense is elite. Josh Allen, he plays mistake-free this game. I think he'll play mistake-free.
Interesting.
I think that Cole Beasley and John Brown are too much for these corners of the Texans to handle, because that's a problem. Their secondary is not the best. It's the front 7 that's very good for them. So with that being said, I'm going to go with the Bills squeaking out a win 28-27 with the game-winning field goal.
That's some interesting insight, and this game is really, I think this is the toughest game to pick of the week, honestly.
Agreed.
And it's really a coin flip game to me, honestly, because you look at the spread, and the Texans are not even, they're actually, if you put them on a neutral site, the Texans are an underdog technically, because they have 2.5 points, home field gives you 3. If you put them in Buffalo, it means the Bills will be a favorite by like 2.5 or something. So maybe even, actually might be 3.5, but honestly, I gotta say, I'm going the other way though. I did think Bills for a while. Texans, I just think they're more ready. I know they've had a lot of playoff failures, so I'll go through some numbers as well. And here's the thing that's really interesting. Both these offenses rank near the bottom of the playoff team. So I think this is going to be lower scoring than you have it pegged out to be. Texans 23.6, they rank 10th in offense. Bills 19.6, the fewest points by anybody in the postseason. You look at the rushing attacks, Buffalo runs the ball very well. They're 6th and they have 128 yards a game. The Texans right behind them, 7th with 126. You look at the passing offenses, Buffalo really struggles here. They're ranked 11th with just 202 passing yards a game. The Texans do a little bit better. They are ranked 7th with 236 a game. Look at the defenses. Buffalo's defense, outstanding, ranked 2nd, 16.2 points a game. Texans rank last, giving up 24 a game. Actually, second to last, I'm sorry, Seattle's last. Texans rank 11th out of the playoff teams. The rush defense, Buffalo is very formidable against the run. 5th, and they have 103 yards a game allowed. Texans are 2nd to last, and they have 121 yards allowed. And I'm starting to think picking the Texans might have been the problem here, but I'm still sticking with it. These stats are not good for the Texans. They are not. And the Texans' pass defense is the worst out of every single team in the playoffs, the 267 yards a game. So they're going to have to hope that Allen can exploit their weak secondary and that the Texans' offense can get some points against the Bills' defense. The thing to watch here is how will the Texans stop the rushing attack of the Bills, because their rush defense is not good and the Bills can run the ball very well. When I'm looking at the other side of the ball, I want to see if Allen could exploit the secondary like I was talking about before. I know they're going to get their yards rushing, but it really comes down to Allen. He might be the biggest factor out of anyone in this game. If Allen turns the ball over, the Bills are in for a long day. But if he plays a clean game like you said, I think the Bills can end up winning this game. And really, to me, it's a coin flip, but I'm going to go with Watson over Allen here. I'm going to go 23-20, and it's just going to be under the 44 points.
Okay, definitely worth noting. This game, I agree, is definitely hard to pick. It's so evenly matched. Like I said, it's definitely going to be one to watch. It's the first game on Saturday. Definitely looking forward to see what happens with this one.
Yeah, it's going to open up the weekend. I think it'll be a great start.